Hey, it's Corey Harlock, creator of KeyHire Solutions, where we work with small business owners to help you stop grinding and start growing. Today, I want to talk to you about the difference when you're hiring leaders or rounding out a team, kind of the three different categories. So those three different categories are: we're going to backfill a position, we're going to upgrade a position, or we're going to create a new position. Oftentimes when I work with my small business owners, their go-to is we just need to backfill a position or hire someone for a role. I had a conversation with a client a little while back, and they have an inside sales team that is not performing the way they need to. And their thought was, if we could just get a good inside salesperson, if we could just backfill a role, get someone else who knows what they're doing, maybe we can get this team to perform better. The problem with that is if you have 1, 2, 3 inside salespeople who are underperforming and you drop a new person with the same level of experience into that environment, they're not empowered to make changes. They're not empowered to drive productivity. They can drive their own personal productivity. So yes, you've increased the productivity of your department by one person, but if you keep them in an environment of underperformance and they are a top performer, one of two things will happen. Number one, they'll start thinking, why am I working so hard? And they will lower their performance to meet the group average. Or two, they're going to say, why am I working so hard and these people aren't? And they'll go find a new environment where other people are working hard. High performers do not settle for low performing environment. So we either need to raise that up to meet their standard, or they will leave. So that's the problem if you're trying to backfill into a team and just add a new element and hope that the overall performance of the team will rise. It won't. But you'll have someone in there, you'll fill a hole, and maybe that'll get you through a short-term crisis or challenge you're having. So the second thing we want to do is maybe look at upgrading that department. So the conversation I had with this client, it turned to, well, what if we upgraded that position, and instead of hiring another inside sales person, we hired an inside sales leader, be it supervisor or manager. Now, admittedly, this leader said, inside sales isn't my strong suit. So they kind of, it's not an area where they're putting up a lot of attention. And so it's hard for them to keep on top of that team and drive productivity. So we said, if it's not your strong suit and we know we need someone in there, why don't we spend some more money and bring in a leader who can take on some of the workload, but also manage the KPIs and drive productivity through KPIs and performance of the individuals, improve process, improve procedure, but also hold these people accountable. And some of them might rise up, some of them might move out. Either way, this is a good thing. If they rise up, productivity goes up and everyone's happy. If they move out, this then gives you an opportunity to bring in the high-performing individual who their opportunity or probability for success is going to be higher because we have a leader in there who's driving that productivity and demanding that from everyone else. So they will then say, hey, this is a high performing environment. I'm happy here. I have a leader who's going to support my drive and need to be productive. So that's the difference between backfilling and upgrading a role. And oftentimes as small business owners, we kind of just say, hey, we just need to fill a hole here. The good thing about upgrading a role is as you progress into the future. So if your leaders are being successful at the roles you hire them to do, business is going to go up. And now you have people in place that have capacity, they have experience, they have ideas, and they can now be moved into different roles within your growing company. Whereas if you backfill a role and the company grows, we now need to go out and hire new leaders who don't have that internal knowledge and experience with your company. So upgrading role and having someone in there with a skill set that is able to take care of your current problem, but can also be transitioned into future roles to deal with future problems, is a huge advantage for your growing small business. Now, the third one is creating an entirely new role. And this is, I've seen this happen a few times where a client has brought me in and said, hey, we need to hire for this position. Let's say it's a general manager role. And after kind of doing our diligence, we say, general manager isn't what you need. What we need here is a director of operations. Sales are already strong, but your operations are really struggling to fulfill your orders or your services. Maybe your quality suffering, whatever it might be. And so if we get a general manager in here who kind of puts a focus on sales and some focus on operations, we're not going to be able to level up. We're actually going to increase that gap in productivity or execution. So we went back and said, you need a director of operations, and here's why. You have a strong operations manager / supervisor, but they don't understand kind of the lean processes that might need to be put in. You might not have any safety procedures, lockout procedures, whatever it might be for your equipment. If you grow any more and you want to add to your facility or add shifts or add hours, we need to make sure we're doing this safely, and we need to make sure that we have effective processes. If your operations, you're doing $10 million on a $5 million process, adding more time is the only way we can make this work, and eventually we run out of time, people get tired, and accidents happen. So adding a new position is often the solution, depending on what you're wanting to do with your operation. If you've been running sales as a small business owners and you're saying to yourself, I just don't have time for this, or it's not my thing. I don't have a level of expertise. Well, maybe that's where we create that new role, that sales manager role. Take a look at the organization. What are the real needs? What are those key pieces of information and capacity we need to inject into your business, so that leader can come in, take over that department, add those procedures, processes, policies, and KPIs, and drive productivity to grow your business. So those are the three different areas to look at when you're thinking, hey, we just need to hire someone. You need to ask your question, are we just going to backfill a role here? Do we have the structure we need to grow? Do we have the structure we need to operate at today's business level? And do we have the experience and capacity in our business to scale and grow and maintain the elements of productivity, quality, delivery, all those good things? Or do we need to maybe add some experience and capacity to the business? We're doing okay with our current business levels, but if our goal is to grow, if we do grow, do the current people we have in the business have the capacity and experience we need to create process and procedure to facilitate the growth of the business to scale? Or the third thing is, are we already kind of at a crucial point where we're struggling with experience and capacity? We have some experience gaps. We lack capacity to create those processes and procedures to scale. Do we need to create a new leadership role to inject in the business to help us meet our growth objectives? If you have any comments, please leave those in the box below. Don't forget to hit the follow or like button here on our YouTube channel so you can get these, twice monthly videos and information. And if you have any questions or subjects you'd like us to cover in future videos, leave those in the comment box below as well, and we'll be happy to answer your questions. I'm sure if you as a small business owner have them, other people have them as well, and we'd like to help as many people as possible. So until next time, stop grinding and start growing.